are back for another week of me not having a haircut and episode of the panel. Just so happened to coincide. Can't nobody tell the difference? No, I feel disrespected. Okay, all right.
I can get a hat.
Yeah. Sure. So I'm on the couch this week. As you see, we're down one. So we miss you, Steve. We do.
See you next week, cuz.
True. So I'm here with the bearded gang, as I myself do not have a beard.
It's okay. You got something on there,
right?
Bitch, I got a mustache. Don't blame me. And we are back to give you guys another episode this week. And when we were thinking about what do we want to talk about as things are starting to get colder, it wasn't bays. Coming soon. We decided to talk to you all about a thing we like to call Black Elitism. And why you blacks, capital B, according to the rules of the world now, feel like you might be better than one another. Come sit on the couch to my therapy session as we break this down.
Not the leg up.
It felt appropriate, okay? Well, guys, Donald, you had brought something up that was interesting, so I'm going to let you begin, and we will free and flow and fall from wherever you take us.
So now we're going in deference order, I see. By real age.
Y'all gonna quit calling me old every episode.
I didn't say I've never called you old once. On camera.
There we go.
On camera.
So we got this idea of Black elitism, and I feel like anytime you hear the word elitism, it's connotation, it's a bad thing, which doesn't always have to be, but whatever. This idea of Black elitism, how do we balance the conversation between celebrating ourselves and that small gray area to where we separate ourselves? It's always this idea of like, this narrative of the black person from the hood, right? That I made it out and I'm gonna celebrate my success, but then you separate yourself from your upbringing, your community, your people, the culture, or whatever. And that's just one example. It could be a number of things.
Relax.
Right?
Sorry, Weezy.
The need to feel like I'm degreed up. I got 3 degrees. I got 4 degrees. Celebrate yourself. Absolutely.
Shut up. That shorty on bro.
I really try not to say.
You know she's Nigerian, right? That's another one that I don't claim right there. I don't know.
Some kind of way about Nigeria.
Just like the one in the church that was capping, supporting Trump. We not claiming.
Those are just checking everybody out.
But what does it look like for y'all? Where do you fall in that conversation of you celebrate yourself versus separate yourself, and how does that fall into Black elitism?
I don't think I separate myself per se. Sorry, Wendy, I only have 2 degrees coming soon. But I think I celebrate myself more than I do, because I'm like, it's an accomplishment. Let's be real. A bachelor's of science in biochemistry, and then a Juris Doctorate. So like, I'm happy. I'm cool. I'm not gonna run around the world talking about, oh, my 2 degrees. Am I like, okay, whatever. I have 2 degrees. I have them. But I think the world, when they find out what degrees you have, separate you in a sense. So it's not necessarily me separating myself from like this specific group of people or like whatever may have you. It's kind of like this connotation of, oh, this nigga's uppity because, you know, he has this, that, or the third, or oh, he thinks he knows it all because it's that or the third. Or on the opposite end, it's probably like oh, he probably is like really smart, average as hell. Just so y'all know. Very average individual sitting on this couch. I'm not even gonna fake it.
He's humbling himself.
Oh no. No, very average man. So I don't think I specifically like go out of my way to do either in a sense, but I do think the way at least society is set up now, because you know this is the age of like accolades and media, I think it does the job of parsing out for me.
What is that woman's name? The doctor on Real Housewives, was her name?
Dr. Wendy.
Dr. Wendy. Okay. I don't want to call her shorty again. Let me respect, her degrees and her titles. But yeah, even when you talk about, I joked about her being Nigerian. Realistically, a lot of Africans, which they are people of color, they're black, they are a prime example of Black elitism. And yeah, even when you talk about from an educational standpoint, whether it be educational or even racial, some Africans are like very anti-black, surprisingly, you know.
That's true.
And so that's problematic in itself. They think, you know, lesser of Black Americans than they would of Black people back in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing. And then even I saw a quote, aside from African in particular, I saw a quote, I think within the Black community we have different levels of elitism because it was a quote saying the poor judge success by, you know, luxury items. The middle class judge it by titles and then in status, and then the rich judge it by their wealth, basically. And so even within that, I think of course the higher you get up, or you know, poor, middle class, upper class, the rich, the higher you get up, that's when the separation starts to be more apparent to me. Because, you know, when you talk about people that be poor, let me not say poor, but you know people in the hood. You know, I know some people that's driving some Lambos, some Ranges, and they really ain't got it like that, but they flexing.
Hood rich.
They celebrate hood rich, yeah, and they're celebrating themselves. They are.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the middle class, the 2 degrees, you know, or the 4, however many she has,
Or
Dr. Wendy.
whatever.
That's when people. I feel like a lot of people start separating themselves, especially because it looks like yeah, they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and they're like, oh, I don't want to, you know, I'm leaving y'all behind because I'm in a different space now, whatever it might look like. And then financially too, like I said, the rich, they judge based off of their wealth, and that's a whole other conversation, you know.
You're right.
Like we talked about Jay-Z and Diddy last time, in their own world. So yeah, I think that's when the separation really starts. It's really hard to find people that don't do that. Nipsey Hussle was one of the few people, like celebrities that I know, like that was wealthy and still going back to the hood, you know, like still pouring back into his community, which a lot of other people do. Like I know people still do it, other rappers do it, but that's my first person that comes to mind. He's a perfect example of like, I made it. I'm celebrating myself, but I'm also gonna still not separate myself from the community. So
Actually, and I think that's important too, because I think I even said like, oh, this idea that you made it out.
Yep.
It should be an idea that you made it. Right, because if you say I made it out, that means you were separating yourself from something.
That's true.
If it was a bad situation, or if it was just an upbringing that is not ideal for where your lifestyle is now, like to say like, "Ooh, I made it out," okay, so are you never going back, or you never going to invest? Because I think there's a level of respect that will neutralize Black elitism. You mentioned Nipsey. That he was always giving back to the community. He made it out. He was continuing to make it, but opened up the doors for so many other people to still do the same and felt attainable as opposed to like, I can't do this, and this is just something like so far off into the thing. My mom always said like, you can tell somebody who ain't never had no money because they showboat with it, right? So like, I mean, I don't come from money. Old money, new money. I mean, it's green, but we ain't have it. You know, so like,
Was it this green?
it was spendable green. Okay. But you know, she always taught us how to manage our money. And Black elitism isn't just about the dollar amount or wealth, but when we talk about class and start to dissect that and what that looks like, we just always been working class, but we do like nicer things. And not to say that people that don't have still don't have nice things, but I know I got champagne taste, and I am on a beer budget. I also never introduced myself.
Never heard of that. A beer budget.
Oh, absolutely. Modelo, Dos Equis, everything. But I've never officially introduced myself. I am an educator. So that should let y'all know that I am on a beer budget, okay?
He drinking that red apple.
Hey, first of all, that stuff smacks.
Yeah, look, he does.
I like the finer things. But no, like I've been able to work in that, and I still want to go out the country. I still want to travel the world. I still want to be able to buy a car. I still want to be able to do those things. I have 2 degrees. I have a master's. I'm working, but I don't ever want to forget where I come from and all of those things that made me. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago. I absolutely love the south side. I love Chicago. And my cousins, we're all the same, four of my cousins, we're all the same age for a month. So the beginning of October is the youngest, the end of October is the oldest, and we've just always been in that cycle. 3 of us went away to college, or went to college, period. And I think all 3 of us finished. I know at least 2 of us did. But you got this idea of like Chicago niggas, and it's three guys and two girls that we just, do X, Y, and Z or whatever. But this idea that we are all college educated and have gone to do something. I, for a while, always felt bad about going back home to my cousins who didn't go to school. And I never wanted to feel like, oh, that's the college boy. Because I was the one boy of the group that went to school and it felt like was doing something with his life, but it's always been framed that way. I don't think that's the case, but when you have those conversations, y'all separate like you and family.
So now you're getting to a point of like where your elitism, I guess you can say, was making you feel kind of like guilty. Separated from them, like a negative connotation, not because of like you shaming other people, but like your fear of them thinking about you a certain way.
Yeah, if it was not coming directly from them or just people that I was around, and be like, oh, well, that's the college boy, and it's like. Okay, I went away to school, but I was a terrible student. I got kicked out of school, like college. It was like, no, you can't come back. Like, you're an idiot. So it was like, if you unpack that and talk about the story, like I wasn't the college boy, but because it looked like I had it together and all those other things, if I wasn't out hooping and if I wasn't smoking, if I wouldn't do all those things, like that should never have any impact on somebody's intellect. Like my cousins are smart, okay? My family is smart. But everybody didn't have the same path. So it's just, it's interesting when you talk about that, you see style of dress. Everybody went away, at least to Mizzou, went away to school, came back, had a certain little style of dress. Yeah. And everybody still wasn't baggy pants and basketball shorts ready to go and hoop, at Ada Park or some shit like that. So it's just like, how y'all navigate that with y'all family?
He's a different era. But he's a different era. I can tell. He must have been doing great.
What I wanted to say was technically during your college era, there were baggy clothes.
Yeah, I meant to say.
Yes, we found the light like sophomore year.
But I can tell.
You sure it was your sophomore year?
Shut up.
But now you're getting into a conversation of identity because I feel like and elitism with in terms of identity. Well, we already talked about wealth and the intersectionality of being black, but it being a different ethnicity.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing as well too. I feel like the neighborhood you come from and even how you grew up and how you were raised. I know for me, for sure, my parents moved us out of the hood. I'm from the east side of KC. Love Kansas City to death. East side of KC, a very segregated community from the rest of the Kansas City area, like kind of like the south side of Chicago. And so I kind of was like almost embarrassed, to be moving to the suburbs when I was in high school. Kind of like you said, like you was going to college and you was like, he's a college boy now. Now it was like, now my friends talking like, they'll make fun like, oh, like he live up north now. Like, he with the white folks. Like, like, nah, I'm on the block like you still. Like, I'm still here, obviously. Like,
Right.
And so I feel like that is also another thing in our community where it might make some other people have this kind of disdain or like, and then want to become like this elitist, like, okay, I am better than you then, that's never been me though, but like, I know that's been a lot of people that's ended up being like, yeah, so what, I'm from the suburbs, but like, that's why you got potholes in your neighborhood, little stuff like that I've heard people like joking about, so.
Not the potholes.
Not the potholes, man.
Potholes are the demon of the streets.
Okay, literally.
I swear. Shoot.
So it's I feel like our identities play a major part in the elitism discussion, and then somebody at a certain point in life you decide like, I'm going to go this way, like the separation, like I said, or you're going to I'm going to just stick with these people over here and still know that I like the finer things of life, and I do have a higher status in terms of certain like realms like education and whatnot, but I'm not any better than you.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna answer your question in a second, but I want to ask also a question since you brought it up. Being Nigerian and having like that dynamic in the household, one thing that, at least from what I understand from like friends and so on and so forth, is that kid statuses in terms of like degrees and the things that you all accomplish affect your parent status and the community as a whole. So your choice to become an engineer, your brother's choice to do like nursing originally and what he's doing now, like was that like for you in terms of like wanting to like elevate and do it for you, or was it subconsciously also like damn, I have to help elevate my parents and like do that part too.
The first part is true. Like a lot of parents will be like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed of my children. You can't even go to school. What is wrong with you?" Some parents will just be like, just talking bad on their children. Might be like rappers or something like that, and they'd be like famous rappers. You know that one dude, Toby, who did the "Don't try me, he tried Jesus."
Yes,
He's Nigerian. Yeah, and he talks about all the time like how his parents will still be like, still gonna go to school, law school, and like, get a degree, and like he's big, he's huge, like BET awards, and he's doing great, independent artist. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. So for my family in particular, for me at least, I definitely came to Mizzou with intention of like make my parents proud, like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to dental school and this and that, and then by organic chemistry, I said, fuck that.
I understand that wholeheartedly. So I get it.
We're done. And that's when I really started, when you talk about when you start living, that's when I really started doing things for me, and and even within that, luckily engineering was a very, very good, very good degree, because they always say doctor, lawyer, engineer.
That's it.
And engineer's the last one.
That's it.
I'm a lawyer. I'm a lower tier.
You're holding on.
I'm barely there.
I ain't even on the wrong.
But
I'm teaching people to go.
I'm mentoring.
They've been invited.
I'm mentoring. Let's go. My Jollof is on point, baby.
So yeah, a part of me, like literally every time I'll be like, dang, I feel proud because I'm doing what I enjoy now, but I'm also like, that's a flex because my parents proud too. They can say my son's an engineer, like Yvonne Orji always talks about it. My daughter's on HBO, like literally. So I'm like, my son is an engineer, yes. And so she don't even know what I'm gonna do. Like, when I had my internship, she didn't know what I did. She was just saying I was in San Francisco. She was just telling the whole world, like. So it's like, it's a flex, yes. And I'm proud that I made my parents proud. I'm proud that I had 2 degrees. I am the stereotypical Nigerian.
Yes, you are.
By trade. Like, literally, like, if you look at me, like, wow, he's an engineer. Oh, he has 2 degrees? Oh my gosh, this kid is
and also handsome and single.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I'm like a Nigerian woman's mom's dream. Like, literally, like.
He's gonna be on the Nigerian Bachelor.
You are a dream, what is it? Son-in-law.
No, we're a dream son-in-law, literally. And so I gotta watch that because some mamas be capping, bro. They be getting a little too close. Yeah, I'm like, no, I got it. And that in itself plays into the elitism, bro. Like I know some people that literally will be like, they try to hook people up and whatnot, and some people will be like, oh no, he has 1 degree. Like no, don't do. Or I had I know one girl that was trying to get hooked up. She's a family friend with some guy, and he had studied like poli-sci. And they was just, the whole family was like, no, don't do that. I'm like, dang, that's a bad degree. Like, he went to college, he graduated. And, it's just like, so, yeah. It's elitism within elitism. It's just too much.
That's actually super interesting.
My parents are sensible, luckily. Ooh, that was shade to other people's parents. I'm sorry.
No shade to my mama or the rest of my family. They are proud of me and my accomplishments. They have no idea what I do, though. Nobody can articulate to anybody what
you do for your
I'm like, just say, I'm an educator.
Yeah.
I work at a university. I teach. It's easy. Like, just... They be like, so what's your job again? I'm like, I can't even try to be elite. Y'all don't even know what I'm doing.
Damn, well, when Phelan was like, so what's the program manager? What's your job going to be?
I had to ask.
I said, just look at this thread, this Twitter thread.
And it helped.
I'm like, my brother engineer.
Right, he's an engineer. But,
where are you, Mr. Elite?
Oh my God, no I'm not. I'm middle tier according to the Nigerians. I'm loving it.
You better be a lawyer. A lawyer.
You're higher than me. Yo, my parents about to adopt you. Look.
I've been in Eke for years. That's all I'm saying, but that's fine. I don't know. I mean, like, if anybody who's ever watched anything on my channel knows, in terms of the law degree at least, I never wanted to be a lawyer. That wasn't like the first thing that I wanted to do. When I was an undergrad, it was actually to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. And shut up. And so when I was going through like my junior year or whatever, and I was like, damn, I don't really know what I'm going to do after I graduate. Because I never had like the formal internship. I never did like anything in undergrad to figure it out. I was like, well, who the hell am I really doing this for, right? Like, why am I going to go be the next Preston Burke before he became problematic?
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, it's really for my parents. And at the end of the day, it's not what I wanted. So when I originally graduated, got my degree, the big thing was like celebrating he had finished in 4 years, right? 4 and done.
That's also a flex too.
Right.
Because especially in STEM and with engineering and biochem, that's not like normal.
It's not.
So I was like, flex.
Yeah,
That was very elitist of me, but I was like, yeah, I did it in 4 years.
That I will brag on.
Yeah.
Four and done. 4 and done. Shut up. Nope.
I did it. I'm a flex. I did it in 4.5 and I got kicked out.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a flex. Still got back in. Yeah.
It's a story. It's a testimony.
It
is.
He saw the best in you.
Amen.
But no, like I didn't want this. I didn't see this happening. Am I happy where I'm at now? Yes. Are my parents happy where I'm going? Absolutely. I think I don't know. I've never really thought about it in terms of, at least in this phase of life, really trying to please anybody else. Mm-hmm. If you're happy, you're happy. Cool, great. I also couldn't tell you what I'm going to be doing after I graduate, even though I do have a job. I don't know what department I'll be in. I just know what the salary looks like. And I'm not better than I am. I'm okay. We're here. I'm cool. Cool. Can my parents really tell you what I'm going to be doing? No. Will my mother brag about me having this job and doing whatever? Oh, absolutely.
The Facebook posts are coming.
Absolutely.
So in that, we talk about Black elitism, we talked about wealth, we talked about achievements and things like that, but hometown pride. You are from?
The South Suburbs of Chicago.
You are from?
East side of KC.
South side of Chicago. Do you want to move back home?
Never.
That's funny. I would actually like to go back to Chicago for a little while.
Never.
Why never?
I think that, you know, a lot of people from St. Louis be like, St. Louis don't got nothing for me or whatever. Even like big artists like Smino and whoever, they don't even live there anymore. I just think that was so like, dang, that's messed up. You putting your city on? But no, they're still so St. Louis. They just know that the environment that they grew up in was not really safe for them. And also that it's just they have bigger aspirations for what their city can provide them right now. And that them putting their city on the map may look different if they do it outside of their city. They are attracting more attention to their city. They're bringing, you know, new people to the city that never really knew about it. I feel like that's gonna be me. So it's like more so like, dang, this dude made it out of KC, and it's like people see that with other people that are older than me right now, and they're doing great things, whether they be in LA, New York, Chicago, wherever, and it's like inspiring, I guess. So yeah, and also just it's just KC. I'm a little more fast paced.
Where are you trying to go again? just so we can throw it out there.
I'll be moving to Chicago. 2021.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Catch you there.
But with that, even within that though, I do plan on investing. Like I tweeted, like if nobody gonna invest in the east side of KC, I sure as hell am. I tweeted like a few weeks ago because I plan on owning property in KC and like still like owning businesses there and, you know, providing opportunities for a lot of people there in the east side of KC. And so even though I'm not going to be there physically, I'm still going to be there in some capacity to help my community because I'm not going to forget about them. So yeah.
Okay, Nipsey, why are you going back?
You know, I'm going back adjacently at the moment.
Okay.
So I will not be where I want to be location-wise, but I mean, I'll still be back in Illinois. So
he's close.
Yeah, I'm close enough. 30. Well, now we're in 30. Okay, whatever. But one, I went back for the opportunity, but then two, there's things that I feel like at my big old age I want to do between the suburbs and the city. I have my eye on a couple of projects, positions, like long-term impact that I know before I leave Illinois altogether, I want to say I was able to get the ball rolling, at least on some of them. So I want to go back for that. Will I go back to my specific suburb? Absolutely not. I'm ready to get the hell out of Dodge now. But in terms of like my high school, some of like the schools in that surrounding area, like with the kids in particular, having recruited for 2 years and seeing what the south suburbs look like, the south side of Chicago, arguably part of the west side of Chicago too. There's work that needs to be done, and there aren't either qualified people in positions to do it or people who are in these positions and don't care, and wanting to be able to try to foster some development to get them to grow and expand to see their potential before I say, y'all on your own.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, because I always said I would not go back to Chicago. I was like, I live there, I've done it, I can move on. But similar to what you were saying, like, even if I'm not there, I'ma still be Chicago through and through. Like, everywhere I go, you will just know. Like, that's just what it's gonna be.
Chicago Donald.
But now, I've grown, I've matured, I've experienced a lot, and I feel like I can go back to Chicago and not feel that I didn't accomplish something, because you hear this rhetoric around like, oh, where you living now? And it's like, oh, something, and you say like, oh, you're still in Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Chicago is the third largest city in the country.
That's what I was saying. And also I was telling a young lady that yesterday, and she was like, oh, really? I had no idea. I'm like, yeah, it is. She's from Houston. And so I was like, yeah, Houston is supposed to surpass Chicago.
Okay.
Specifically in the census.
It's growing. They're 4.
Yeah, it's growing. They're number 4.
They're still not 3.
They're not 3, exactly. And the thing, funny thing I also noticed is that a lot of people from Chicago, at least the counterparts, that I know from the South Side, do not want to stay in Chicago because of exactly what Donald said. Like, oh, you're still in Chicago? It's like kind of a negative connotation.
It's the greatest city.
And I'm like, it's a great city. Like, and I'm trying to get to Chicago. I'm like,
if only Chicago was a little warmer,
yeah,
I would never leave.
I would be there year round almost.
Brett, I would never leave.
But then it goes back to the point of, like I said, some people realizing that they came from certain environments in certain places that I didn't experience, so I didn't grow up on the south side of Chicago. I don't know. I know some neighborhoods and places that are good, and I haven't got the full, experience of experiencing Chicago, my whole life since. So I could see why there's that negative connotation of like, oh, you still in Chicago, but it's a great city, and so I think that needs to be kind of a detachment from that. No matter where you go, even with me from KC, I've been learning to, not have that negative connotation about like, oh yeah, I'm staying in KC. Which one I'm going home for a few months. Y'all know that, yeah.
Here we go. All right, y'all. Well, on that note, we established that Chicago is an amazing city, and all of you all should not move there because we do not want to be crowded like Atlanta. We'll talk to you after a quick break. And we're back. All right.
What up?
So, to, round out the conversation, in the day, as we shall say, what do you all, or how do you all, plan to raise the next generation? So, like, your kids, the kids that you want to help. What does that look like for you, given, 1, knowing where you've come from, knowing the things that you've experienced within, 2, as we've talked about with like the elitism of things, how exactly will that shape the structure of your household moving forward?
I think I want my children, this is kind of I've thought about this a lot. I want my children to live a very good lifestyle.
How have we been thinking about
I ain't got no kids coming out. Let's slow it roll.
Don't think too hard.
I want to make sure I didn't miss something.
But I do think about these things because, at the end of the day, our parents really just want us to be better than them. And that's when I started realizing after graduation, my dad was just happy that we graduated. He literally said, I'm happy you guys graduated and go to jail, or end up dead. So,
hey, that's an accomplishment in America.
Literally.
Foundational goals, man.
Literally. Yeah. And so, I want my children to have everything that they want. I had everything that I needed, I want them to have everything that they want as well. But I also want them to instill in them like some kind of work ethic for it, Because I didn't have a lot of things that I wanted. And so I wanted a lot of stuff, whether it be clothes, whether it be toys. We just didn't have it financially. We had everything that we needed to survive and to live, but I want my kids to have everything that they want as well, but still find a balance of like you're gonna have to work for it. I don't want them to grow up in like a struggle. I think we romanticize the struggle too much. Like, oh, I made it out the hood. Like I say jokes sometimes. Like I say, I made it out the mud or whatever. I'll be joking. I'm gonna be like, boy, you ain't from the mud. You go from the summer. But realistically, I don't want my kids to have to say they made it out the mud. I want them to be able to do anything they want to do in life, even beyond, like, if they want to go to college, if they don't want to go to college, and they be successful at whatever they're doing, whether it be an athlete, a musician, or anything. I want them to have access to that and not have to struggle, and just go one route. I want them to just have options. So yeah, it's a balance. I don't know.
I agree with that because I definitely want the same things for mine. Like I said, we grew up working middle class and had an amazing mother who worked multiple jobs and did different things. She's an Army vet. She's full-time parent. She worked for the post office. She was a secret shopper for Costco, I think. All of these things to put food on the table, and like I benefited from that, and I was lucky enough to not be a complete, excuse my French, fuck up. Mm-hmm. So like,
so proud of you.
Right, again. Mm-hmm. So things were presented to me to be there, but I didn't work in school. Like I didn't have my first job.
They didn't let me work in school. They was like, you're gonna go to school and just like. Yeah, I didn't. Only summertime, they let me work. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I worked like Taste of Chicago and little like polling places and stuff like that. But mom was like, "No, you're gonna have plenty of time to work."
Yeah.
And your job is gonna be school. Well, when I went away to college, I realized that I wasn't doing my job.
Fired. He got rehired twice, so it's good.
But like, when we talk about Black elitism, like I want to make it. I want to be successful in my life, my work, career, finances, wealth, all of those things. But I don't ever want to get to the point to say like, cool, I got these things, so that my kids are definitely gonna have. Because I want them to have a work ethic. I'm a hard ass. Because nobody was a hard ass with me growing up. I just always was expected that I was gonna be good. So it was like, you ain't in jail. You ain't shooting nobody. You ain't got nobody pregnant. We good. Amen. But like, that was cool. So I want to still have that mirror the same upbringing that I had, but I have to acknowledge that by the time I do have kids and they start to become of age, that the world is different. Hell, the world's different now.
Yeah. And especially with instant gratification, our kids are going to be so used to just wanting stuff like that without working for it.
Yeah, think about it. I'm not raising no influencers. Yeah, that's not. Let's focus on you having an impact.
Oh my
okay, because that influence is temporary. Yeah, the impact is long lasting. Like I need you to be able to do something. I need to know that y'all can critically think, and I need to know that y'all can do these things. Of course, I want to give my kids everything, but I don't want to spoil them either.
I think First Lady Michelle Obama touched on this very well in her book Becoming, where she talks about when they moved into the White House, she wanted Malia and Sasha to
Malia.
It's Malia and Sasha. Malia and Sasha. Well, I'm so sorry I got your name wrong, Sasha.
Still wanted them to make their beds.
Yes, they make their beds. They wash their dishes and all this stuff. You know, they had her private chef still and all that stuff. But she was like, okay, they're still gonna make their beds. They're still gonna wash their dishes. They're still gonna do their chores. Unlike, we want them to be raised like regular
black mama, right there.
So very black mom. So, and it's just like she intentionally went out of her way to instill those kind of things in them. So that's the same thing I will have to do.
So I want them to. I didn't have a car. As a teenager, I didn't have access to a car as a teenager. I got around, again, I'm from Chicago, but I got around on the bus and the train. My friends had cars that was, with them or whatever like that. And it's just like, ooh, I want to be able to, we grew up watching Super Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. When Chris Brown had that Lamborghini with the spider seats. Oh, man.
It's like, that was cool. And then you look at this and you romanticize success and money. It's like, ooh, I want that. And it's like, material things aren't everything. But I'm like, damn, if I give my kids a car at 16, what am I teaching them? Or what have I taught them at that point? So I want to be able to still, I guess, fall into this idea, the positive side of Black elitism, but still giving my kids some true character, some understanding, some work ethic, all of those things. So hopefully I can balance those two because I think I embody it, but I also acknowledge that I'm just a basic regular ass nigga in the world doing great things and working my ass off in my field, but I can balance the two. So I want to be able to give that to my kids. What are our little Simpkins doing in the future?
Yeah.
Huh? Kids, what?
Kicking around already?
Me, myself, and my money. No, but I mean, like, they're gonna work. Like, I worked in high school. I worked,
actually working?
Always, period.
Always. Story of my life.
But, your kid's gonna be strong and elegant.
Yeah.
Well, technically, yeah, kind of.
You love it.
Or
You
ice
love
cold.
it.
I don't know.
Yo, little
I don't know if
kids,
anybody got that
kids,
joke.
kids.
My girlfriend is, a devastating diva.
We love you, Kimmy.
Bye, whatever. But yeah, no, my kids will definitely work. I worked all of high school. Hated and loved my job at the same time because I worked in the mall. But they'll work. I got hand-me-downs. So like I shared a cell phone with my older brother until we finally got 2 separate phones. The car was still shared, and then he got his own car, and then I got that car when he went off to college. So it was a balance of things. There were things that I got that I probably didn't need but wanted, but it was always tempered by, okay, well, this is what you got, now you have to do it, like you have to perform. So everything was tied in a sense to performance. So my kids will be performing, and I am no stranger to discipline as well. My kids will be disciplined. I believe in raising humble children who are aware of themselves, aware of who they are, in a sense of they don't have to be like everybody else, and they don't have to measure themselves next to everybody else. One thing that my father was really big on, because my mom and my dad were raised completely different, was he wanted us to have more than what he did growing up. And so that's really my goal, is for them to have more than what I did growing up, whether I have to like sacrifice, bust my ass and work, invest in the stock market, different things like that. Like I want to build them a portfolio where they have more than what I did at the age of 20, 21, so on and so forth. So when they have kids, then they're just like, it's that's how you build.
Autopilot.
Yeah, it's like an automatic build. That's how you build generational wealth. Literally, that's what the whites do all the time.
We're worried about our children. I'm still about to give my signing bonus to my mama. Like, here, take a little bit, mama.
My mom already has designated half of my signing bonus. Exactly. So let me be very clear. Like, there are things that I want to do, but I'm not like hard pressed constrained on how that will happen. I just know an idea of what I want, and we'll figure it out from there. All right, you cool kids. Well, thanks for tuning in to another week of The Panel. Next time you see us, hopefully all 4 of us will be back in our designated couch positions.
Yes, sir.
However, until then, stay black, or white, or Hispanic, or whatever ethnicity you are that is watching this show.
We don't judge.
Stay beautiful. Like, comment, and do subscribe. And not miss any more. See y'all next week. Peace.